Well, that's an interesting question. I think that Howard just, he was a sort of a workman kind of person. He did what he was supposed to do. You know, the names of all the positions have sort of shifted around, but he was the primary running back in the backfield. And I think as an athlete, he knew how he was supposed to, what he was supposed to do, and that's what he did. He did it the best he could. So that's sort of an answer to to that. Howard is a very quiet, unassuming person, and you didn't get a lot from him spontaneously unless you knew him well. He would talk with you, and but he was a very quiet guy. I think that what made him tick was just that he was a person who knew what he was supposed to do, and he did it to the best of his ability, and his ability was significant. If you needed a few yards for first down, you could pretty well rely on giving it to Howard. He was about 6 feet, so if he fell forward, he would gain a couple of yards just doing that. But and the 6 feet was pretty big in those days, back in the 1950s, but isn't so big anymore. It might be a little bit of a surprise that if anybody who had known Howard as a student, that he ended up with had a career as a lawyer and in real estate. I didn't know that, or I didn't know that was where he was headed when he left here. I'm not sure that he had decided to go to law school, but well, I certainly want to say that I think Howard was very deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. And I didn't mention, but his senior year, when he had an outstanding year as a running back, the team record that year was 1 win, 1 tie, and 6 losses. And so it's difficult to make a lot of noise in terms of press clippings when you're on a team that wins only 1 game. So I think from various aspects, Howard certainly deserved being in the Hall of Fame at Oberlin College, and I congratulate him posthumously, and wish that it could have happened at an earlier point, but it didn't. And so I'm pleased that his family and his children and other family members are here to celebrate this moment.
I remember him as a very determined athlete. He was hard to bring down in football. He'd usually carry 4 or 5 defenders along with him before he went down. And then he'd come back to the huddle and huffing and puffing. I don't know whether it was fake or not, but he'd come and sound like he was just at death's door. But no, they'd give him the ball again and he'd crack through, and even though he looked like he was tired, he just carried on. He was very determined, and I admired him very much. He was a classmate of mine, so I knew him better than a lot of the people who support the Heisman Club from other years. He was, as I say, from Wellington, and his little brother came to Oberlin. And he was very well respected, went on to law school. That's a favorite memory, not that so much about an athlete, but as a person. I certainly am happy to see that he's been is being inducted into the Hall of Fame. He deserves it. I think it's belated, but better late than never.